Okay, I'm trying something a bit different. One of my fishing week's holidays from the past.
Thursday the 1st of June 2017, 5:05 AM. Rod and I heading up the M74 on our fishing holiday.
This is the Isle of Skye, just leaving on the ferry to go to North Uist.
You out. Very good.
Trying to escape.
Well, that's nice and bright out here. Waiting. Dry.
I think that's a bloody M6 the amount of time it's taken to.
The large white building is a Lochmaddy Hotel, which controls an awful lot of the fishing, together with another estate on North Uist. Hotel guests have priority over the fishing, so when you want a boat you have to book it after they've had the opportunity to take it. So my friend David is very honest, so when somebody asks him how well he's done, he tells them the truth, and we've lost a few boats in the past because he's said that we've had a great day fishing on that boat, and then we go back a couple of days later and find we can't get it because the hotel guests are on it. If you want to preserve your fishing, the best attitude is you haven't even seen a fish. There's always on the first day a bit of excitement. I've edited out as much wind as I possibly can with this, so when we're talking about the wind it doesn't sound bad, but believe me, most of the week the wind was horrendous.
Wind was not stirring that lock, haven't they?
Yeah, it's always a nice sheltered one there.
This lock we're walking to, which is the first bit of fishing we're going to do, is you see all those broken bits of grass or reed on the shoreline. That was the wind ripping them to bits. We gave it a good go, but we caught absolutely nothing between us. So, seeing as we were tired from the long drive, called it a day. This is day 2. You can see by my hunchback countenance that I was in a hurry to get to the fishing. We go across country very shortly to the locks.
Friday the 2nd of June 2017. We're on our way to fish 2 small locks that adjoin Loch Fadder. These are locks that are controlled by North Uist Angling Club. This is a little sea lock on our left. There's a bit of a reef over there, and there's a nice depth of water nicely going out over in that direction, so I'm quite optimistic that we'll produce a fish here.
What David isn't saying, that when we got up here there was a couple of anglers throwing spinners all over the place. I don't regard fly fishing particularly as any more skillful than spinning, but the problem with spinners is that with their monstrous treble hooks they do so much damage to fish, especially with people that can't be bothered to very carefully unhook your fish. And all those enjoyable gullible fish that you're likely to get when you first arrive at the loch have already been hooked or pricked, so less sport for us. Apart from anything else, on these waters there's no spinning is allowed, but people seem to just do what the devil they want up in the highlands and islands. Those sort of little rocky outcrops you can see in the horizon, we did quite well later on with small fish that, well, quite a quantity of small fish that aren't shown on the video, so it wasn't quite a hopeless day. We've been coming to North Uist at that time for about 10 years, and this particular year, 2017, we were surprised at how many other anglers there were knocking around, and not particularly the anglers you want to see on a fly fishing holiday.
Just try this slightly quieter water down here. I can see that there's one or two weeds sticking up which sometimes hold fish.
The day up on this loch I fell flat on my face, and I didn't realise, but I'd lost a really nice fly box, stuffed like all my fly boxes are with some lovely little loch flies. Somebody's had a lucky find.
Confident you're going to get a fish, you see, so I've had a couple on the Bibio, and the last one took the Invicta.
Watching these videos back, I'm surprised to see how old and knackered I looked then. Well, just as old and knackered
Quite
as
nice
I am now.
to find somewhere sheltered and have a brew up, I think. Are you ready for a cup of tea?
The secret with this lock fishing is just trying to find the size of fly with the rate of retrieve. It's not good conditions for fishing. It's a bit too windy and it's a bit too bright, but when you're there, there's nothing you can do about it other than not fish and just go home.
Fish on. And I wasn't even watching. It's just a small fish. I think it's probably taken the bob fly. Yes, it has. I'm going to bother with the net. It took a bibio. Yeah. Fish about 10 inch. There it goes. Back to where it belongs. All right, we caught quite a lot of fish, all small, you know. Biggest was maybe 9-10 inch. What about yourselves? Right. Yeah.
Make something out of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Put some flesh down it.
Oh yeah. We might get a boat.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Enjoy the boat. It's in there's on the island. There's a loch in the middle of it. Yeah. Right at the side of the road. Just
Right. One of our favourite vessels. Today's weather was forecast 14 miles an hour winds, which gave us some hope. At the moment it's probably blowing at about 30 miles an hour.
In case you're wondering what happened to day 3, it was ruined with excessive wind.
The wind has veered around. It's nearly impossible to fish where we were. So I've come to the end of this bay here, which means that the wind's a bit less, as we've got some shelter from the land. And get the wind in a more manageable position to casting.
This lock we're fishing here, with the drop off, is so close to where you're standing. I've had plenty of fish with the flies just popped a rod length away from me.
Fish, I don't know if the camera's picking him up or not, but very mixed day weather-wise. Sunshine, heavy showers, wind variable and variable direction, and far higher than it forecast, of course, which is a bit typical for this area, the islands. This is pretty mean the BBC forecast. Anyway, here we are. It's 3 in the afternoon, and just going to go walking seen some tough good fish once before, so we didn't want to go there. So the rucksack here and just a quick wander over there. This is Rod's magnificent beast. I would guess it weighs about maybe a pound and a couple of ounces, I would think. What do you think, Rod? Yeah. Nice pink flesh.
As you notice, that was a dead fish. We do take a few fish home whenever we go to North Uist. We freeze them at the bed and breakfast because the eating quality of them are absolutely incredible. But it's not many, and it's not off every lock. It's only on the ones that have an abundance of fish that have fantastic feed in them.
Oh, straight into a fish, look at that. Isn't that amazing? Nice fish as well.
Amazing jumping fish. When you get a big one, it can take you 5 minutes to land it.
Cool, they do fight hard in here.
The water quality on Uist, from the fishing point of view, is excellent because the sand is blown off the shore into the locks, and it contains lots of shell fragments. It keeps the pH right of the water.
There's a fish. Not huge, but lively. Do fight like mad here.
So when the pair of us fish a water like this, we tend to split up and each do our own thing on a section of bank, and then meet up for a cup of tea and a bite to eat, compare notes, and then off again for a few hours until the end of the day. I very rarely even have a mobile phone on me when I go out. I just like to get away from the so-called modern world.
No. Quite disappointing that, to be honest. Would have expected a bit more action than that, although we did have a few pulls from fish that we didn't connect with, and having said that, we've now connected to a fish. Not a huge fish, it's a similar stamp to the one we caught before.
They do fight so hard, these fish. You look at the size and you can't reckon how powerful they are for the size of them.
Just looks as if it was slippery. What? Oh. There was me half asleep, and suddenly I was connected to a fish. Some people behind me with a sheepdog and a dog called Arrow.
We both use the types of flies that work well retrieved and static. Flies like Silver Invicta, Bibio, Black Pennel, Blue Zulu. The bushy flies are generally greased so they skate along the surface looking like a sedge or a moth that's been trapped in the water. There's a huge amount of moths in the heather in the summer on these islands that they get blown onto the water all the time, so fish are looking for them. And they know that their opportunity to take them is very short-lived, so they tend to hit the surface flies really hard and quickly.
Winged fly hooked on a rock. Fished.
Do like they do on the suicide bombers, just give you farewell to everybody.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah. So we're all doing this one.
Rod and I had our lunch break. It's 25 to 2. Let's have a lovely ambrosia rice pudding. Rod and I've had a curry tuna, which was very, very nice actually.
Yeah, sounds.
you're hungry. Mind you'll eat anything when you're hungry. Day has turned out completely opposite the weather forecast, which we're delighted about. Sunny, warm, and a light breeze.
Forecast was rain and gales.
Yeah. So we're quite delighted with how things have turned out. Cheers.
The wind dropped all of a sudden, probably mid-water in the tides, and the fish of all sizes started to rise, just gentle little rises for tiny flies. Really hard to get a take, and I was just starting to catch them, and then the wind blew back again. But while you're looking at that, I'll tell you of a funny incident a few years earlier. We were fishing one of the locks that's renowned for big trout, and a doctor stopping at the hotel that was going to go out in the boat found out, had sent the head gilly to chase us off the lock. I wasn't in the best of moods because I'd been wading deep, and some water had got into my pockets and damaged my little compact camera, which I was very fond of. So when he came up to me wanting us to go, I showed him the tickets and reminded him that we had as much right to be there as the doctor, to which he agreed. And then, looking at my disagreeable red face, he apologised and left us. But later on I found out he must have thought he was talking to a complete lunatic, because one of my lenses in the sunglasses had dropped out and hadn't realised, so I just had one eye protected. So I don't think he'd be in too much of a hurry to approach anybody again. Beautiful place, isn't it?
Perfect little trout. Caught on a black pennel. Just fishing in here, and at first I thought I'd got quite a nice fish, and then I realised I've actually caught two at once. One might be big enough to take there. One on the dropper certainly isn't. I think the one on the point might be.
Right, so I'm going to stop with the voiceover now. So as always, please subscribe. It helps get my videos to be seen by more people. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll leave you in peace to enjoy the rest of it. Bye for now. Bye.
This is a bit dodgy. Right then. this fish off first. It's better. The other fish is, it's 5:10, getting quite dark overhead, quite atmospheric. No rain, but it feels as if it could be imminent any time. Heading back to the car now to meet Rod. I said I'd be back there by 6. Today we've decided to venture out and have a boat fishing day. Come to this lock here, which about 20 minutes ago looked reasonably calm, and it's beginning to look a bit rough. Into a fish. Don't think it's any size, but promising start. Ah, there's actually 2 fish on. I think the other fish has dropped off. It has. That's good. What? No. I've just had 2 fish. Yeah. A black pennel and a silver Invicta. Rod's been fishing from that spot for probably 10 or 15 minutes, and he's persevering and trying different flies because every so often he sees quite a bit of activity in the water here, so he's determined to try and catch something. So I've just nipped in just above him here, and I cover this water here. See what happens. Here, quite a nice fish on a ridiculously short cast, but I hadn't even had time to tighten and there was a fish on. Fish as well. Just keep it away from these posts. top. Much beside the road. Holding up the saucepan and ready to catch it if it tries to form the wind blows it off, but it's quite soft. Here's today's catch from what I shall refer to as the Lock of the Corncrake. Because I really got blown off the boat fishing this morning, and it turned out to be a compromise. Well, quite a good fun day. Apart than usual, we're about an hour away, and you can see Eval behind Bod as he tries to tie a fly on. And quite a bit of a breeze. We're in a sort of slightly sheltered spot here whilst we're tackling up, but we're hopeful for a good day, and of course, and the forecast is that the wind's going to drop off later on, which probably heard that, I'm not sure, but anyway, so we'll get cracking anyway. Rod playing a fish, which looks to be okay, and set it on for a fuel. Yes, looks very nice. Nice fish, Rod. Alright, and you're obviously here to fish. Right, yeah. I'm not sure, we're fishing together. We've only been here about 10 minutes. Yeah. Probably, yeah. Yeah. Yes. So are you fishing a bissery, or are you fishing another? Yeah.
Yeah, well, just going to take a look.
Right. So you fished it before?
Yes.
Yeah. We usually find that this bank is particularly good. And where the fish are, you know, there's like a drop off, you can see they're right on the edge of there. You don't need to cast very far. It's yeah. I must go and have a look at his fish anyway. Yes. Let's have a look at this monster then. Yeah, it's all right. Have you put it away? What sort of size is it? Ah, right. That chap there was watching you. He said, "Oh, he reckons that was 1.5 pounds." That's why I was rushing over. Rod playing another fish in the distance, which has just jumped out and looks of a reasonable standard. Or has he just lost it? Oh no. And a fish, I think. Hopefully. Oh yeah. Oh, 2 fish. I hope they're both keepable, Rod. I think they are.
think the tail flies is foul hooked. No, it's coming in tail first. That's very impressive, Rod. Are you keeping either of those? Yeah. Done. Rod and I are on the last day of our fishing holiday in North Uist this year, and we've come to this loch here. We're hoping to go out in a boat, but I've decided it's a bit windy for that, although it probably isn't actually, but it's a day for keeping warm. It's quite cold today. Temperature's only about 13 degrees. There's an east wind, and we chose this loch because of the direction of the wind. As we came out of the hotel, having booked our ticket, we were followed out by this guy who spoke to us about the loch, told us it's his favourite loch, and gave us some advice about where to fish on it. Apparently his party rather infirm and he didn't feel he could cope with it, but having spoken to him and accepted his advice, we're quite optimistic about the sort of day we're going to have, so I'm just going to wait. Yeah. Right. There's a nice depth of water out there. How have you had any offers?
More likely higher up.
Right.
What do you mean?
Yeah. Be what?
A year or two without collecting it.
Yeah.
Wonder where we're going to.
I wonder. Probably when we get in that narrow strip. To a fish. So it's a bit closer to the ocean. There it is, sunbathing. So hope it doesn't just swim off, which it just has done. A fish at last. Is this the hot spot on the loch, Rod? You're going to put it back? Hold it up for the camera first. Oh, I see. Yeah. Bit lean, isn't it? Fishing at the lily pads. I suspect it's a small fish. Not. No, it looks like I can see its flanks glistening.
Yeah. Right, to net it. Indeed. See if I can do it without falling in. There it is, wishing with its mouth open. This is a bit hairy. Ah. Yeah. It's had a little rest under the bank. We've packed up fishing at the other lock and we've come to this one immediately next door. We fished this a few years ago and it was absolutely stuffed with little fish, so I think we're just hoping for a little bit of sport.